drumming their fingers, all those kind of the body language and the gestures, and of course, eye contact.
So when you have a candidate sitting in front of you, you're going to check whether the candidate is going to look into your eyes or your face, or is it they are looking elsewhere, and whether they're fidgeting. Is there anything else you will notice? That is the eye contact and the body, this thing. What about the hands? You notice anything in relation to that?
Yeah, they
Posture.
may be, yeah, posture, of course, if they're steady and straight. Maybe if they're slumping, that actually indicates a low level of confidence. Yes. Okay. And maybe over usage of the gestures might also indicate nervousness.
Nervousness. So, energy is usually communicated to us through the motions in the hand, right?
Yeah.
So, that is something very perfectly said. So, that is one way of us to understand whether a student is confident or not. But when we are teaching in a workshop, when you're creating content to be taught to a set of a group of professionals, first thing you have to make them understand is what do you mean by confidence? Why are we concentrating on something called as confidence? So that is where this definition you have to learn it and present it to them. It is, how they are going to talk in terms of clarity, how their body language is going to be expressed properly, and how they are able to process their thoughts and present it out well. So that is how we explain to our students. And see, when we take our sessions, very rarely you might have to take for more than 30, 50 students. Sometimes you might even have to take for one student. Whether it is one student, whether it is five students, whether it is 20, 30 students, give them a structured way of understanding these things. These are all like non-tangible things we are teaching here. So when we give them a structure, like today we're going to talk about how to master art communication. So when you are talking about mastering communication, remember the first thing what you have to become an expert is in the confidence level. How you are going to showcase that you're a confident professional. So there is some few things we usually teach our students or clients is the fear of public speaking. In other words, it's called as stage fear. നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റേജ് ഫിയർ എന്ന് ജനറൽ ആയിട്ട് പറയുന്നത് when you're talking in a workshop, that doesn't work. Why? Because we are not teaching them to go always on the stage. So instead of using stage എന്ന് പറയുന്ന words, use words like public speaking. How are you when you talk to professionals or your colleagues in meetings? നമ്മൾ informal settings അല്ലെങ്കിൽ formal settingsനകത്ത് when there is a group of 2 or 3 people who you are not having any idea about, how are you communicating there? അവിടെ വെച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ ഒരു പോയിന്റ് അവരുടെ മൈൻഡിനകത്ത് the seed we are going to plant. That is, how do you know you are confident? They don't know. They actually don't know how to put their issue in words. There we're putting it into words. How you react in a crowd of people who you don't know. That is called as stage fear, or in other words, fear of public speaking. അവിടെ വെച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ് റേസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. And then we teach them about the signs of public speaking. That is the heart rate, which increases fast. They feel palpitation. Some of my students will sweat. Their hands will become so wet. Some students will start sweating a lot. നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറച്ച് physical symptoms വരും. Some extreme cases in other, I have seen my clients, they go blank. They know everything. Like 5 minutes back, നമ്മളടുത്ത് super ആയിട്ട് അത് present ചെയ്ത് കാണും. The minute they go in front of this public in this uncomfortable setting or out of their comfort space, they become blank. They can't even coherently speak one sentence. That is where you are going to analyze. So you are going to see what is it that the student is going to do in front of you. You are an unknown entity. So when you go no, I'm not talking about after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, That level I'm not asking. I'm talking about the day. The day you go in front of these students or clients or professionals, you are an unknown entity. That day you will be able to see their confidence level, how exactly it is going to be when they go in front of another unknown setting. So അവിടെ വെച്ചാണ് നിങ്ങൾ ആദ്യത്തെ analysis actually start ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. Are they forgetting their words? Are they fidgeting? Are they, showing signs of rapid? How do you what is the signs of rapid heartbeat? How do you see that in a client?
Rapid heartbeat. They may, yeah, I think it's maybe forgetting.
So how can we actually analyze and see that is the panic which comes on their face.
Okay.
Suddenly you can see that as if they are under a lot of stress, lot of adrenaline. So you can understand that they're having rapid heartbeat. Then you can see them constantly rubbing their hand or constantly I can't show you, they rub on the laps, they constantly rub. These are all signs of rapid heartbeat, immediate anxiety. Idilam extreme cases are, ma'am. If you ever come across such kind of clients, please write it down separately in your book that this student has severe anxiety. They are difficult for you to manage with just a few sessions. There you have to be more interactive and more, you have to give them time to overcome. That is all severe anxiety. Inganatha signs, if you're seeing in your client, please put it as a red flag clients. They are not at all easy to train. You have to give them extra effort and support there. And they will be the ones who actually need your help. Of course, one of the main things, what you said, avoiding eye contact. But idinatha, ma'am, we have sent a lot of, these are all content for you to prepare and showcase in your sessions. All this proper preparation, practice out loud. You can just learn it by heart and use it. Right? You can use it. And you
You'll be
can
sending
use it as
this,
a content.
right?
Sorry, ma'am?
PDF IQ le.
Yeah. Everything is going to be sent to you. This is something for you to use in your sessions. You're going to make this as a PowerPoint. Make it as a PowerPoint. Please keep it in mind when you are taking classes for more than 10, 20 members and all, and especially professionals. Make it a PowerPoint. They get attracted to all those color and how you'll be standing in front of the stage, that slide, and you keep on changing. That's how usually the sessions are conducted. So you can have a very good control over that. Give a very powerful presentation which stays in their mind. That is what I keep telling my trainers. You have to bring out that energy there. You have to entrance your clients. You have to make your participants feel like listening to you. I think yesterday I told you an example of one of my clients who was from the Gen Z criteria. The first day, when that student came, I remembered, see, if I was somebody who was not dealing with students for a long period of time, I would not have, been very, like, ignore because we have experience in dealing with these kind of students. If I was somebody who was in this high level and if one of my team member or my colleague was doing that, I would have become offended, actually. Namakku a characteristic when we see in somebody who's supposed to be sitting and listening to you, you will get offended. That is the way they react with us. So Angana vannu react ചെയ്ത ഒരു കുട്ടിയാണ്. By the time he ended the sessions with us, he was, he's keenly listening to each and every word we're taking in the session. He knows that whatever he's learning from this session is of benefit. It's of benefit for him. He's being benefited out of such an intensive training. And the way we handled him was very much in a way which was not offending him, not putting him down. We were giving consideration to his age and to that social characteristics of that age group. So by the time he left, these were the words he told us. These sessions taught me how to control and manage my emotions. I understood how to, present myself in interviews. I understood the importance of teamwork and collaboration and how I needed to present myself in the best way possible. These are professionals who are aiming to be, like entrepreneurs. They want to start their own business. They want to have their own set of, work. So അങ്ങനെ ഒരു വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു കാറ്റഗറി ഓഫ് യങ്സ്റ്റേഴ്സ് നമ്മൾ ചിലപ്പോൾ ഡീൽ ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യമായിട്ട് ആൻഡ് എസ്പെഷ്യലി പ്രോട്ടോടൈപ്പ് ഇസ് ഓൺലി ഹാവിംഗ് ദോസ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് kids from my analysis of that age group. So there you're going to face a lot of negativity. You're going to face a lot of like നിങ്ങളെ അതോറിറ്റി നിങ്ങളെ വേർഡ്സിന് ഒരു വാല്യൂം കൂടെ കിട്ടാത്ത ആ ഒരു മേ ബി അറ്റ്മോസ്ഫിയർ യു മൈറ്റ് ബി ഹാവിംഗ് ബട്ട് ദ വേ യു പ്രസന്റ് യുവർ സെൽഫ് the powerful persona you can put out there, the way you conduct your sessions, which makes them feel, okay, we are benefiting something from this. We are learning something new here. When they get that mindset, they get that thought process, they're going to listen to you. They're going to accept your words. They're going to accept your training. So this is where your skill as a trainer should come out. So it's not just theory, it's all about practicality. How the theory which I'm teaching you here, how you're going to present it out there in practicality. That is why the live sessions are very, very crucial for you. There I will be sitting, analyzing and seeing how you are dealing with students. Okay, because one main problem what I found out when we train IELTS trainers is നമ്മൾ IELTSന്റെ മൈൻഡ് ഫോമാറ്റ് എന്താണ്? Clear them, push them for exams. Baki onnu mind ചെയ്യണ്ട. Filler language ആര് mind ചെയ്യാൻ പോണ? Body language who's going to bother? How they're interacting, who's going to bother? No. Here it's exactly opposite. I don't want accent and all that in our sessions. Proper sentence construction, which they are not like by hearting and vomiting, which they are making on the spot, and the way they present it. That is where we are coming. This is completely different training in that sense, if you see. So we
I
need
think
to
I have
give
a doubt on that. Like
Yeah.
you told me I have to conduct a live session today.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to do it? In my own way, or have you given them topics to talk?
No. When I say evaluation, this will be your way. It's not going to come under my way because they're already used to my topics. They're already used to my way of coaching. Here it will be like I'll say there is going to be a third person evaluation. It's like fear of public speaking. We're triggering. So this I conduct in many ways. Group speaking, individual speaking, trainer coming and training. What I am going to do here is notes. I have given also a lot of activities. See, there's a lot of activities also I have given you here. I want to see how you are using these notes in your own way. How are you going to take it? It's going to be just a 30-minute session. What is the task you're going to give? How are you analyzing? I'm not going to participate there at all. I'm just going to be a very silent member.
Actually an introduction because I don't know them. So
Yeah.
is that okay?
You will ask them. You will ask, introduce. Self-introduction is the first thing they have to train. They have been trained to speak.
Okay. So it's just speaking, just speaking,
Speaking. In the class in the evaluation is purely communication mastery. That's why I'm taking the session today. It's communication mastery in the session now. That is, you're going to analyze their confidence level, their tone, their pitch, their filler language. That's what you're going to do. Nothing else. Yeah. Any other doubts, man?
Because I haven't ever seen a soft skill training.
I will be including you in my future soft skill training. That will be perfectly fine. Same thing what I'm doing with you, I'll be doing, in an indirect language with them. The trainers in a language, the students in a language. There's not much difference. But I
don't know what I'm going to do.
ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട് ഉണ്ടെന്ന് ഇരിക്കുന്നതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ ലൈവ് സെഷൻസ് കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ചെയ്യാതെ എവിടെ നിന്ന് ഇംപ്രൂവ്? See, I can teach you for
it is good.
Yeah, 1,500 hours I can train you. But one thing I have understood is unless and until that trainer comes in front of that student, does that practically, there is no use for, train the teacher program and all. There's no use. I have seen some centers who are giving these courses, and then they say, okay, fine, got your certificate, go train. And when they come in front of the professionals, they make such a big blunder of themselves. They don't even get, നമ്മൾ ഒരു blunder ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്ന, see, in one negative word which
ഒരു
is
മിനിറ്റ് ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് ആ കുഞ്ഞച്ഛൻ എടുത്തോണ്ടുണ്ട്. പറഞ്ഞോ.
മാം, നമ്മൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്ന ഏതും ബ്ലണ്ടർ ആയാലും റിമെമ്പർ ദാറ്റ് ഹോൾ പ്രൊഫഷൻ ഇസ് ഗോയിങ് ടു നോ. Will spread. They are all one group. We are this, third party who is trying to enter their profession. So don't make blunders. Just be a very confident version. Use your English fluency to the max. നിങ്ങളെ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ഫ്ലുവൻസി കേൾക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് തന്നെ പകുതി പേര്, ഓ വാ, ഷീസ് quite good. She can really communicate so well. People will be like that. That's I've seen. Once they hear people who can speak confidently or communicate well, appo thanne avara mindset, pagadi they are like amazed, or they want to be like you. That's how it is always, mostly. And it has never changed for me in this last 5-10 years. I've seen it literally in every state, every client's in our mindset. So when you talk about confidence also, remember we're talking about the fear overcome chain. Second thing is we're going to teach them about the mindset. നമ്മളൊരു മൈൻഡ്, ഞാനിപ്പോ തെറ്റുണ്ടാക്കാൻ പോണു, ഐ എം ഗോയിങ് ടു മേക്ക് എ മിസ്റ്റേക്ക്, ഐ എം നോട്ട് ഗോയിങ് ടു സ്പീക്ക് കോൺഫിഡന്റ്ലി, ഇങ്ങനത്തെ നെഗറ്റീവ് തോട്ട്സ് അവരെ മൈൻഡിനകത്ത് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ that is a self-limiting thought, and that is going to pull them down. So we train them to not have. So as a trainer, what tip I give my trainer is, you can analyze which candidate is having a good language. But namakku illam, poor confident speakers are not bad in English. There are people who are really good in English, but they don't have the confidence to speak. Why? Because of their self-limiting thoughts. Avada ningala duty nana, you're going to segregate who has language, who doesn't have language, who has language, who's not speaking well. Avada you will identify those candidates, and you will make them understand that their self-limiting thoughts is what is making them speak very poorly. Avada nammala training avadeyum varunundu. So that is something you are going to be doing as a part of this training, where you will ask them to, sometimes this writing task helps a lot of clients. We tell them, see, analyze yourself. Tell one thing, what is affecting your confidence? Why do you feel you can't speak? So they say, okay, I don't know English, I don't know grammar, I don't feel I can speak well, blah, blah. They have so many self-negative thoughts, so many self-doubts they have. Make them find that out, make them self-realize that. That is your duty. So here what I usually give my trainers in a tip, don't suddenly expect, training they're going to be confident. Training for confidence takes time. So what you're going to do here is, you're going to actually give them that mirror practice training, and there, like I said, you're going to analyze kind of language and they are not confident. That means they are having some inner blocks. So whether your self-limiting belief in the training, to see if they are improving. If they are not improving, please talk to them privately and tell them to attend one-to-one sessions with a professional. That's the only way for us to help them. There's no other. Because avariki anything with internal block on avada pangeraite pull down ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അത് a professional
means like a counselor or something.
Yeah, we don't call them as counselors, we call them as healers, communicative block movers in mind. So we see counselors, basically what they're doing is a psychological problem. This basically namala block, inner block, something is preventing them from speaking confidently. That kind of, you can call them as life coach or healers. Don't say counselors and all. Then they think, oh, we are being advised to go for cycling. I mean, it's not cycling, for counseling and psychological, psychiatry related. But it becomes a red flag. So it's not going in that in-depth. It's just a block. Avariki inner blocks, maybe their inability to deal stress, giving me time, something might be there. So that is as a trainer for you, do it that when you become an expert, analyze, assess, and find out that kind of things in your students. Then, of course, ma'am, is their posture. See how they're standing, see how they're putting their hands, what is their shoulder level, how are they, being confident in front of you, how are they able to talk in front of public, how, all that is going to be analyzed and assessed by you. And there you will teach them all these points, whether how to stand straight, or ma'am, what is the difference between open body language and closed body language? Can you give me an example?
Open body language is probably like you're straight and your
Yeah.
arms are wide, right?
Your hands are away from you. What is closed body language?
Close means maybe like this,
Yes.
or maybe
And also this.
also
Yeah,
like this.
they hold themselves like this.
Yeah.
You can see the stress in their hands. All that is closed body language. So open body language has to be adapted by our clients because closed body language shows that they are not confident. That is even if they have a lot of confidence in their words and their voice, but their body language is like this, believe me, the whole training is a waste. So that also something we have to give them a detailed, I would say, training. Definitely, you're going to do this if, as a part of your soft skill trainer, you're going to teach them about body language. There, of course, eye contact, the way we stand comfortably without too much fidgeting and all that. That all is going to come there. So, നിങ്ങളെ activity ആണ് ഇവിടെ കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. How to make your students or participants, train is make them stand, tell them to adapt a very confident body pose, and then tell them to do their self-introduction. So, how I do it in my sessions is when they come for their self-introduction, right? I tell, okay, please adapt your confidence pose and then self-introduce. So, അങ്ങനെ അവര് സെൽഫ് ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് they are also able to adapt their confident body posture, which is quite gives a very powerful self introduction for them. And I do one more practice with my clients is I ask one student ഒരു കോൺഫിഡന്റ് ഇല്ലാതെ സെൽഫ് ഇൻട്രൊഡക്ഷൻ ചെയ്യും, ഒരു കോൺഫിഡന്റ് ആയിട്ട് സെൽഫ് ഇൻട്രൊഡക്ഷൻ ചെയ്യും, and I'll say the participants to analyze both the self introduction, and they have to tell me which one was confident and which one was more impactful and which one been seen as a good self introduction. അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറച്ച് ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യിപ്പിക്കാറുണ്ട്, so that they can understand the difference of body language in terms of confidence. So definitely in the end, what is their നമ്മളെ സെഷന്റെ ഇത് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, what are our goals, them able to understand what is public speaking fear, ഒരു പോസിറ്റീവ് മൈൻഡ് സെറ്റ്, കോൺഫിഡന്റ് പോസ്ചർ, ആൻഡ് ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് നമ്മൾ ടെക്നീക്സ് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കണം. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വാട്ട് എ ട്രെയിനർ വിൽ ബി എക്സ്പെക്ടഡ് ടു ഡു. നിങ്ങളെ തിയറി ക്ലാസ് ആൻഡ് ഓൾ ഇസ് ഓൾസോ ഫൈൻ, ബട്ട് നമ്മളെ ടെക്നീക്സ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൾ ദിസ് ടെക്നീക്സ് വിച്ച് ഐ ഹാവ് ടോൾഡ് ബിഫോർ, visualization, don't focus on perfection, learn your script well. All the techniques detailedly I have said and given in these PDFs. You just have to go through these PDFs very well and prepare your own PPT. That is going to help you a lot. Next one is the tone. Now, what is the importance of tone? Like namak IELTS nathu undallo, tone and importance.
Okay, so for IELTS is actually casual tone or formal tone. So informal and formal tone. So when you go for a formal settings, you have to use your formal tone. That means you have to be respectful and polite. And when you are among friends or among colleagues, go for an informal tone, very casual tone.
So there is a difference there, right? You can identify, analyze. So remember, our Gen Z students are not at all trained in formal. Their full life is informal. So there you will be teaching them how to change their voice pitch and tone to suit a formal setup like interview or formal meetings. All those kind of trainings you will be giving their live differentiation. Appo idinathu adinte notes aanu, like high pitch, when you're speaking very loudly or very this thing, you're actually showing you're quite anxious or arrogant. Balanced pitch is what we usually ask our students to adapt. Balanced pitch nana, you know where to speak slow, you know where to speak loudly, you know what to stress, what not to stress. Idella nammal avada adinte veniyulla notes aanu. main ആയിട്ട് ഇതിനകത്ത് മാമിന്റെ റോള് വരുന്നത് such an important thing. Not only its tone, the fast. They might be a good communicator, but they will be speaking as if they're going to catch a super duper train. And I will like, why are you speaking so fast? Two reasons are there. One will be they don't know what they means, they don't have the confidence. പെട്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു തീർക്കണം. That is what they're thinking. അപ്പൊ അത് ഒരു before we can understand one sentence, they would have finished 3 sentences. So നമ്മളെ ട്രെയിനേഴ്സിന്റെ മെയിൻ തിങ് അവിടെ വരുന്നത്, see, it's not just about speaking English, it's about how you're speaking it. How are you communicating your thoughts? Apo, that tone, the speed in which you're communicating also is very important. You cannot speak too fast. You cannot speak too slow. You should be able to adapt a balanced approach. So that is something you please, ma'am, please write it down. Speed. Speed are one of your main key roles, in training your professionals from South India is speed. Very, very fast they will speak. And it will be like as if a robot is speaking. No pitch, no up and down. It'll be like thing like that. So that and all is where you're going to bring about your sarcasm and your humor. Please train professionals with a lot of sarcasm and humor. They love it. It's how your usual way of training, making jokes and sarcasm, humor, all that is going to be digged in by the professionals. Please use a lot of that in your training. And of course, the next thing would be is that tone you're using. What emotions you're putting there. Is it sarcasm? Is it appreciation? Or is it neutral? So it depends on what context we're making them speak. Based on that, please analyze that also. Because when we talk about Gen Zs, see why we're talking about Gen Zs is because you're going to train a lot of Gen Zs in your career. So they mostly Gen Z speak with a lot of sarcasm. Other very inherent, other they train to do that, or I don't know, but they come to us with a lot of sarcasm in their voice. So we have to help them overcome that. So that is something as a trainer you have to give a lot of importance. Then of course it is about the way they are saying. Too much anxiety, too much, doubt. If they speak, there is no credibility in their words. But if they're very clear, very calm, very confident, their words have a lot of impact. So that is also the training what we are going to help them analyze and assess and give them that guidelines. Making them know these notes. These notes are for your PPT. Why is voice modulation important? Is because of their image, the way we can, showcase that we are a professional. We have good leadership presence, and they can get better response from their listeners and all that. And the most important thing I love teaching in my sessions is the ability to persuade. If you can convince the other person to do what you want or to accept your views, that is called as persuasion, right? So somebody who's a good communicator will have an excellent persuasion skills. That is one way in which you can find out a good communicator in your sessions. Of course, this is also one of the voice modulation activities we have introduced for the trainers to do for the students. Make them all speak in different tones so that they can understand how emotions affect the tone. Maybe they might subconsciously know this, പക്ഷെ നമ്മൾ ഇത് സെഷനായിട്ട് എടുക്കുന്ന സമയത്താണ് അതിന്റെ ഒരു വെയിറ്റ് അവരുടെ മൈൻഡിനകത്ത് വരുന്നത്. And when we take this multiple sessions for clients, we need to have content also, right? To teach them. We can't just keep telling them, talk clear. So we need content for them to understand, to take notes, to come and refer back. So these are all what we are doing for that. These notes are for that. Of course, my special tip from Inspiration Academy is we have actually introduced audiovisual training for our students, where those who are having fluency, tone issues and all, if they do this audio-visual training videos for 30 minutes per day, it's there on YouTube. You can just directly go and help them, but give them that specific, videos and a specific link in iChodukana, because certain videos are too fast, certain are too slow. So the links which we provide are basically best for our professionals who are intermediate speakers. So they can become fluent speakers by this training. Audiovisual training, I did a personal thesis on this method when I was doing my TEFL examination. This was one of my thesis. They asked me to come up with a method which is going to be helpful for teaching them English as secondary language. I use the audiovisual training as my, because I realized when I was training as an OET trainer, audiovisual training gave me the results. What takes 1 month for my students to learn, I was able to bring that results in 1 week. I'll tell you a story where I had a student who used to get such good marks in reading, listening, and writing, but suddenly for speaking, his speaking was really bad. It used to only come in the level of C plus. So I just had 1 more week left with him for his exams, and I decided I'm going to give him the last effort here, and I made him do audiovisual training in front of me during the sessions, 15 to 20 minutes. Within 1 week, he brought about such beautiful fluency in his language, and he cleared his exams the first attempt. So it's literally like live, live. We have seen the results of this training and how beautifully it improves our students' fluency, tone, the way they pronounce also becomes better after this training. So there is one more thing we will be like covering mostly here. Filler language, body language. I already told you all that motions and all that. These are the notes for that. Detailed notes which you can use for your sessions. Along with that, there is an activity which I've sent you. That is pair activity, group activity. So there's individual activities and pair activities. Here we can understand, make them understand the importance of body language through the way they express their emotions in their body. When we keeping our students' body language, one of the best ways, of course, tell them to record, see how they are, interacting in that video. Tell them record and see how it's being done. Adane avarikku oru valliya oru feedback on to, because one thing very clear, nowadays I've understood is people are not really happy to take their own video. They become very self-conscious and they feel that they are not good enough to take videos. So when we push them to take videos and when we show a camera in front of them itself, all the problems we face in public speaking comes out. So difficult for, initially pushing some professionals to take with a mirror practice. But slowly when they start doing that and they realize it's so good, it's so helpful for them, they themselves will, do it and give you the feedback. But as a trainer, when you're doing a group session, you can only make sure that you give that specific video session, recording sessions to that candidates I told you to identify in the first. There are candidates who you are going to have tough candidates. If you want to see any progress in them, only by audiovisual training or mirror practice can you bring about any viable change or difference in them. So remember, when you're having some tough candidates, apply these methods and you're going to see a superb result in 1 or 2 weeks. Coming to the filler language. Ma'am, what do you mean by filler language?
Use of, instead of pausing, they just say, because I'm a person who has a lot of filler languages. So,
Okay.
okay.
So if it is like you're having a filler language, then we have to help you overcome that. That is something you have to overcome before you become a trainer, right? Because I told now, you are the role model for them. The way you speak, the way you conduct, the way you are going to present is how they are going to get influenced. So if you're having filler language, you can also follow the same techniques and overcome it. Along with that, I can have one personal in one-on-one session also to help you overcome that. That's not an issue. So when we are training our students or clients, the first few things, identification. So when they are speaking, find out near each student's name, write down that words which they're using as filler language. Do it from day one. Trainers in the main duty, I have told from first, do assessment, evaluation, find out what their gaps are. അപ്പോൾ അത് നമ്മൾ ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്താൽ മാത്രമേ നമുക്ക് അവിടെ അവരുടെ അടുത്ത് അത് പറഞ്ഞ് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. So please identify, make sure that they're using structured speaking techniques and teach them the importance of silence. It's a misconception, if you are silent, you failed. So you should never be silent. So there we are going to break this big misconception they have been, practicing from their childhood. Don't be silent. അപ്പൊ അവിടെ നമ്മൾ അവിടെ പറയാൻ പോണ is the greatest power of silence. How silence creates such powerful speeches. And you can also share a few of the videos I'll share. Steve Jobs is one of my favorite person I share in my sessions. I love the way he conducts his, speeches and how he uses silence. Sometimes he'll be silent for 2 to 3 minutes. So we are like waiting in anticipation. What is he going to say next? What is he taking so much time in thinking? അങ്ങനത്തെ thought process നമ്മളെ മൈൻഡിൽ വരും. So even if you're sleeping, suddenly you will wake up and you'll be like trying to listen to what is the next thing he's going to say. So you tend to attract a lot of attention there. And Steve Jobs is a master in that. And there's so many videos of his available that you can use it. And why I love using Steve Jobs references, because we are dealing with these software students, right? So for them, Steve Jobs is always going to be a role model. അപ്പൊ അവർക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ സ്റ്റീവ് ജോബ്സിനെ പോലെ വലിയ ആൾക്കാർ മോഡലായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അവരുടെ വീഡിയോസ് കാണിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് ദേ ഗെറ്റ് മോർ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ്ഡ് ടു അഡാപ്റ്റ് ദോസ് ചേഞ്ചസ് ആൻഡ് ഓൾ. സോ ഓൾവേസ് കീപ് ഇറ്റ് ഇൻ മൈൻഡ്. നമ്മൾ ഡീൽ ചെയ്യുന്ന പ്രൊഫഷണൽസ് അനുസരിച്ചായിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ അവിടെ എക്സാമ്പിൾസും ഇങ്ങനെ റെഫറൻസ് വീഡിയോസ് കൊടുക്കാവുള്ളത്. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ഓൺലി വേ വി ക്യാൻ ക്രിയേറ്റ് എൻ ഇമ്പാക്ട്. സോ മാം, ഇത് നമ്മൾ ഫില്ലർ ലാംഗ്വേജ് സെയിം തിങ് വാട്ട് യു സെഡ്, ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് യൂസിങ് but there is also one more filler language. You have to keep it in mind. The repetition of words. For example, some people will say actually, basically, the fact is, adum filler language. Appa adum nammal maattan vendi parayam. Appa avada adellam kandupidikanam. Is it base filler language or advanced filler language? അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ഈ നല്ല കോൺഫിഡന്റ് ആയിരിക്കുന്ന കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റേഴ്സ് ആയിരിക്കും പെട്ടെന്ന് ദേ വിൽ ബി യൂസിങ് ദീസ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ലാംഗ്വേജ്. സെയിം വേർഡ് റെപ്പറ്റേഷൻ. ഇപ്പൊ ഒരു സ്പീച്ചിനകത്ത് തന്നെ നമുക്ക് ആ വേർഡ് ഒരു 5 ഭാഷ കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റും. Immediately the red flag is should come inside your head. No, he's using a filler language. I have to make him understand that. I have to help him overcome that. So that is where all your effect and all your value is going to come in terms of being a soft skill trainer. പിന്നെ ഇതിനകത്ത് ബാക്കിയെല്ലാം നമ്മള് ways of identifying. You can record, ask somebody to analyze your speaking. Using all that will help you. And using simple. See, when you're taking classes, please bring about framework related teaching. So here we brought about a framework called as PREP. PREP nana namak engine filler languages eliminate ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന state your main point, explain why it is important, give an example, and restate your idea. So it's like a complete circle. So angana namakku korchu ingana abbreviations koduthu we can help them go on a path of structured speaking. Very, very important as a trainer when you're going to give them communication classes. Please help them adapt structured speaking in your sessions. We also have a 3-point rule. That is, this is a very common rule being used by leaders all around the world. Whatever you want to say, stick to the point, say it in 3 points. That's it. Pina, yes, my beautiful topic, silence. How, same thing what we just did, right? Instead of going for a filler language, tell them to be silent. It gives a very powerful presentation. Here is an activity where we are making them speak on a topic. You're going to analyze and assess, and then you're going to help them overcome that. My main class here will be is how you're going to help students who are having severe filler language issue overcome it. That is where my support is going to come from in Stixon Academy. So I developed a method called as click-tap method. Click-tap method is a very intimidating kind of a technique and I developed, but it's very effective. So initially, illarikkum click-tap method cheyan pattathilla because it's a 1-to-1 session. അത് കൂടുതലായിട്ട് 1-to-1 സെഷൻസിലേ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. So first you're going to tell them go for mirror practice, record, find out, give them make them count the number of filler language they're using. So if today they're using 20, by next week they should reduce it to 15. By third week they should reduce it to 10. But certain students you're going to deal with, there's no change. ഒരു വിധത്തിലും they are not going to show any improvement. They are not going to give us any sort of improvement. So there I developed a technique called as click-tap. Click-tap is very simple. what you're going to do is you're going to have something which is like this. Oh, can you see my pen?
Mm.
Can you see this? Either you can do this sound or you can click it on the table. Can you hear the sound?
Mm.
What we are going to do here as a trainer is we are going to ask the student to speak on a topic for 2 to 5 minutes. And it's like intimidating kind of ida. So when that speaker is speaking on the topic, each time that student is going to use a filler language, immediately click. But they should not stop their speaking. It is like, we are, each time the sound comes, it's as if one nail is getting hammered into their brain. So imagine I keep doing this when I'm speaking. It's so irritating, right? So it creates a subconscious fear of the step. And believe me, I have even been able to help students who use this for their life. One session of click tap, I gave them, sometimes you get fed up with all this filler language. You give them a separate, it's like a 5-10 minutes one-to-one session, Anna, with that individual client. Try to do it alone with them, not anybody seeing, because ego out of Manila. It is a genuine effort from our end to help them. So ഈ ക്ലിക്ക് ടാപ്പ് മെത്തേഡ് നമുക്ക് അവരെ കൂടെ ജസ്റ്റ് 5-10 minutes ഓഫ് ഒരു അലോൺ ടൈമിൽ ചെയ്താൽ അത് അവർക്ക് ഭയങ്കര വലിയ ഒരു ലെസൺ ആയിട്ടാണ് വരുന്നത്. ഇറ്റ് കംസ് സോ ഡീപ്പ് ഇൻസൈഡ് ദയർ മൈൻഡ്. Okay, I'm using filler language. I should, pause. Within one session, I was able to, clear so many professionals' filler language, and they never use it again. So I thought first maybe this is might be a fluke method of training. But after doing this for more than 10 100 professionals, believe me, it works, and it has never not worked. So click tap method is a superb way. If when you are having students with severe filler language, you do that. How you can test out this method is when you are doing your own speaking, you can just, unconsciously do that click for yourself. You can say to yourself, stop, don't speak anything there, be silent. So since you have told me that you're having filler language, my next class, I'll be having a small assessment for you for this filler language. We make sure that you can overcome that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, ma'am, any doubts?
No,